Hi, hello?
Hi,
Hi, my lovely mother that I love so very much. How you doing?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Okay. The whole stream can hear you. You know that, right?
I do now.
Okay. So don't say any phone numbers or anything.
And you cannot see me, right?
No, no one can see you or anything.
Welcome.
Okay. Okay, so this is the only thing, because we were talking about this on my stream a little bit earlier. You know how you get really mad when liberals do the thing where every time you criticize any black person or whatever, they always pull out the race card? You know how you hate it when liberals do that?
Okay.
Well, do you? Right? Yeah. If you say something like, or if you say something like, I don't like Hillary Clinton because I think she lies to the media a lot, and then a liberal says, oh, so you hate all women. You know how you don't like it when people do that, right? That's really annoying, right?
Okay, I agree with that.
Okay. And you also know that if you criticize Obama, like, oh, like, I don't like Obama's policies, he hasn't done enough in the war on terror or something, right? You know that, right? And then somebody says, oh, you're just criticizing him because you're racist. That's really annoying, right?
Right.
Okay. So why is it that when somebody protests via flag burning or sitting down during the national anthem, why do you pretend that that's an attack on all American soldiers when it has nothing to do with that?
I heard what you said. I don't know anybody. I know how I feel, and I don't know anybody that doesn't take it like a personal attack.
Yeah, I can find you people to talk to if you want to. There are tons of people in the military that don't get like this crazy bent out of shape about people protesting the United States.
It's not a matter of protesting. It's a matter of the things that symbolize what we fight for. See, it's not a piece of cloth. It's not any old song. It's like
Okay, but when you say what we
it's
fight
like
for,
a driving force.
Yeah.
It's like what we look for when we're striving for something.
I understand what you're saying, but when you say driving force, what do you think some of the most important freedoms of the United States are? Like, wouldn't you say that being able to protest your government is probably a cornerstone of American freedom?
But yes, and I agree, and I think that's fine. But I think that protesting for something that you want or something that you think is bad is different from attacking certain symbols.
Okay,
because
so
I don't think they equate to the same thing. It doesn't mean that if you.
But so then what are you allowed to like what you're saying right now sounds like something that comes out of what you think every other country is. Like the government tells you like, well, you're allowed to protest this way, but you can't burn this symbol because it's not good.
No.
Well, because
that's not what I mean.
But that's what you're saying. Like the very first amendment that was put into our Constitution, the very first one that came in the Bill of Rights, literally protects freedom of speech. Like, and the ability.
Do you understand civility?
Sure. What about it?
In a household, if a child thinks something is not acceptable, a child thinks something is not acceptable, they want to do something, there's no reason why they can't, and in a way they want to protest, or they want to try and get the parent to come around. You don't do that by cussing the parent out and slamming them and making them feel as if, all they've done is hurt you all their lives, when what you want is a particular basketball. This is kind of trivial, okay?
No, listen, I agree.
You shut the conversation down instead of opening it up.
Okay, I agree with what you're talking to, but I agree with that example, but we don't have a parent-child relationship with the government. We have authority over the government.
Yes, that's right. But you're not attacking the government. You're attacking everyone who fights for it.
No one is attacking the soldiers, Mom. No one no one cares. No one that goes out to burn a flag.
You attack the flag, and when you attack the national anthem.
This is my problem, is that I know that you as a conservative, because I see all the stuff you post on Facebook, I know that you get very upset every time you get race baited or gender baited. Whenever somebody criticizes Obama and people are like, oh, you're racist, or when someone criticizes Hillary, you go, oh, you're sexist. Those things really bother you.
Because they're off base.
Yes, okay. However,
then throwing other stuff out there is just off base.
Exactly, and you're trying to delegitimize the argument of your opponent. Don't you see how people on the other side feel the same way when any time time, if you criticize Bush, it's because you hate America. If you criticize, or if you burn the flag, or if you don't stand up during the national anthem, it's because you hate the troops. Do you see how you're kind of misdirecting the conversation in the same way?
Because I don't see that those are what's going to get you what you want.
It is now, isn't it? A ton of people.
The problem.
You're trying to bring attention to a problem, and it's working. I mean, a lot of people are talking about it now. These are very, very popular people, and everybody's talking about the national anthem and standing during it and donating money to some of these organs. Even that guy in that insanely idiotic video is saying that a lot of people now are donating money towards some of these causes. Was it Michael Jordan that donated?
That if they got together with all their unbelievable amounts of money and did something for their communities, or put information out to bring attention to it, it would have been a positive way without slamming people who've done nothing but good for them.
Oh, okay, so why couldn't all those dirty Negros just like go and work towards freedom? Why did they have to do the big marches, and why did they have to make a big stink out of everything? Why couldn't they have just continued to work in the background? Like, don't you think? It's like, it's the same thing, right? Like, you're telling somebody, hey, stop protesting, just go do something else. Like, doesn't that seem...
assuming that they got free and then everything stopped. They did struggle to really be free in every way. Okay?
Okay, sure. But part of that is protesting.
Obama has taken us back a really far
How has
way,
Obama taken us back?
I'm not even going to start to... Well, how? Because he's creating chaos. He's turning everybody on everybody.
How is Obama turning any...
You don't know who's your friend anymore because everybody is... It's just a mess. And that was his intent.
No, but the mess of all of this stuff has existed for a long time. That's why we're at this boiling point.
Things are getting better.
Things have always been getting better. Things are still getting better.
Nah, well, maybe, but I don't see that.
Because you go to places like Breitbart and you're looking at the insane things that you're posting on Facebook.
In general.
What?
You know, when you're praising organizations like Black Lives Matter and stuff like that.
Who's praising Black Lives Matter?
Praising an organization that's saying go out and kill every white person you can. There's nothing getting better because that is not the type of organization that even wants to make anything better.
Why do you support an organization that tells you to protest the funerals of soldiers?
I don't do that.
You do. Aren't you Christian? Don't you support that? Do you Westboro Baptist Church? You don't support those people?
And you know that's not true, so what's the point of it?
Okay, so you're saying that it's not fair for me to stereotype the entire Christianity based on things that some people in Westboro Baptist Church does, but you think it is okay to stereotype all of Black Lives Matters because of some lunatics that go and kill cops?
Well, considering that the head of their organization...
The head? It's a movement. It doesn't have a head.
Well, they acted like they did.
Yeah, everybody who wants to... Do you think the KKK was representative of all of Christianity? Because there was a very hardcore religious aspect.
There was a set group of people that were in KKK. Okay? Not everybody... Just like there's a set group of people that are in Black Lives Matter. A set group of people...
Okay, but the religious aspect of the KKK was very, very, very important.
What?
What do you mean, what?
The KKK was... There was nothing, I can't think of anything good about it, okay? There was too much bad for it to be good.
No, I'm sorry. The KKK was a very religious, organization.
Yes, so are the Islamic radicals, dear.
Yeah, but see how I'm trying to remain consistent and not stereotyping either one. But you seem to think that it's okay.
Well, then that is the PC thing. Okay?
Wait. So you're saying that it's politically. So can't I say that you're being politically correct when you won't stereotype all of Christianity because of what the KKK or the Westboro Baptist Church does?
You take people on their individual merit. You don't lump everybody together.
Okay, but then why are you saying that every single person that supports Black Lives Matter? But then why are you saying that every single person that supports Black Lives Matter wants to murder cops?
Not every single person, but that's what they're encouraging. That's what some of the leadership with the mouths are encouraging. Do you disagree with that?
Yes, it doesn't have a leader.
You disagree that there are portions of Black Lives Matter that are saying go out and kill the cops?
There are portions. Do you disagree that there are portions of Christianity that want to burn gay people at the stake?
No.
Okay, so we both acknowledge that there are extremists in pretty much every single group. There are extreme Catholics, there are extreme Lutherans, there are extreme white people, there are extreme black people.
Probably there's all kinds of people in every walk of everything.
Okay, so why do you think it's okay to stereotype some people but not other people? I don't understand.
I've missed your point.
Okay.
What I was saying is that there are some things that are really dear, really heartfelt to groups of people.
Okay.
Okay, like the national anthem.
Sure.
It doesn't necessarily have to be ours. It could be any other country's. Okay, when people sing their anthem, pledge allegiance to their flags, they actually feel something. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. I guess it bothers me. I don't know why those people, or you or Dad, would go into military service not understanding what the entire point of the country's constitution you were serving was for. Like, I don't understand that at all. Like, what you're telling me would be the equivalent of a New York police or somebody serving the police department, and the life of their friend, you know, they lose him in service and they do all this stuff and they make all these sacrifices, and then they walk up to a bunch of people and they want to just arrest him and throw him right in jail, and then a judge is like, well, hey, you can't do that, we have a process, and you go, I can't believe you're being so incredibly offensive, I arrested these people and I want to throw them in jail, and now you're going to tell me that you need a trial? This is insane.
No,
like,
that's
what?
not true, because that's not the way it is. We have protocol.
Yes, I agree. We have protocol in our Constitution. The Supreme Court has said that flag burning and sitting down during the national anthem are...
Teach your children manners, okay?
We're not talking about manners.
Others, you actually do consider them in your speech, whether it's a female, a particular friend, a parent, someone that's in the same thing as you, you know, a co-worker or co-gamer. You treat people individually, everyone really.
Sure, but we're not talking about manners right now. We're not talking about manners right now.
I'm talking about civility. I'm talking about civility.
Yeah.
I'm not able to make you understand.
How uncivil is it to sit, like, this is the most harmless form of, this is why I got irritated when you said liberals cry about everything on Facebook, when you've got Republicans going apeshit because people are sitting down during the national anthem. Don't you think in the grand scheme of things, of all the...
disrespectful.
Yeah, that's the point of protesting. Protesting is supposed to be disrespectful.
Armed forces.
No, it has nothing to do with the armed forces. It has nothing to do with it. What does the fire department and police have to do?
Down when those people died for some of our people.
I mean, more people died going over to Iraq and Afghanistan than died in 9/11. But
respectful. That's what it was. Okay, there's a time and a place for everything. So
nobody can criticize anything that goes on with any of that because you'll constantly use, because you're using the troops as a shield from criticism. The 19-year-old people my age that went over in Iraq and died are being used as political fodder for you to keep people from protesting in the United States. That's exactly what you're doing. Yeah. Yes, it is. How is it not?
Because it's not.
Okay, so a black man in the United States who doesn't like the fact that cops are being killed by black people, but also doesn't like the fact that the treatment of blacks in some areas of the country are bad, decides to sit down during the national anthem. And you extrapolate that to mean he's disrespecting the troops. You don't think that's a little bit absurd?
The flag, he's disrespecting the troops, he's disrespecting everybody who's given him the rights that he has.
But he can't even use those rights. You're saying that he shouldn't even be allowed to use those rights.
No, I'm just saying that was an inappropriate venue for it.
So what is appropriate? How can black people here? Okay, well, just tell me this. So let's let's give some guidelines. Can we give some guidelines? How are black people allowed to protest in the United States? Can you tell me? But no, obviously not.
Create change. You don't go beat somebody's face in.
Nobody's beating anybody's face in, though.
And then you wonder.
Everybody knows what's wrong. But it's still, the process is very slow. So can you tell me, how are black people supposed to protest in the United States? Can you give me some examples?
Why should they protest the United States? Why don't they protest whatever they think is wrong?
Because their problem is with the United States government and United States culture.
Has a problem of a specific nature. That's what you go for. You don't go attack everyone who's doing it right.
Nobody's attacking
whoever's actually doing it wrong.
Okay. All right.
Doesn't that make sense?
I don't think we're gonna agree on this.
I mean, if I'm a real jerk, are you gonna attack Dad? Or are you gonna,
I'm not attacking anyone. No one is attacking anyone by sitting down during the Pledge of Allegiance. But it's impossible to have a conversation with you or the large majority of Republicans these days, because as soon as you try to criticize the United States, they're real quick to throw all of my peers, all of those corpses and shit that are now rotting here in the United States ground. They're quick to throw those up as a smokescreen so that you can't criticize anything the United States does. It's really aggravating.
Why, you think
because
this is the only period in time when people have died for their country?
No, I don't think so. But I have to live in this country.
Single them out, pull them all out of the graveyard, put them in a
But that's more or less what you're doing. But that's more or less what you're doing. You're using them as political fodder. It is.
It's called civility.
What is civility? What do you? Well, we're not talking about civility. We're talking about protest.
Treat people right.
Okay, so you can't say
bashing people who are
no one is bashing people that are helping you. It's a form of protest. You sit down during the national anthem because you're displeased with some of the things that's going on in your country. I don't think it's that extreme.
I hear you. On the other hand, I feel disrespected.
Why?
But you have to do what you think is right. That's the bottom line, isn't it?
But when a black person says they feel disrespected because of how cops treat people some places, you would tell the black person, well, they're not doing it to you. You shouldn't feel disrespected. Not all cops are like that. You shouldn't feel disrespected. So the black person's not allowed to say that. But you can say that you're disrespected.
If somebody in Australia were to be bad to a black person, then somebody in Germany should.
We're not talking about. Why are we bringing about other? Why are we talking about other countries? I'm talking about because this was an American citizen that protested the American national anthem in the United States of America.
What?
Because this was a black American that protested something with the American national anthem in the United States of America about how United States of America police officers.
Everywhere.
It's not everywhere. He's not protesting it. Do you think that he's protesting the way when black people are treated fairly by the cops? I don't think that that's what the protest was.
He's basically saying every cop in the United States is bad.
You think that's what he's saying?
That's how I took it.
Why?
You're saying he was protesting cops, right?
I think he was protesting the unfair treatment of black people. There sure are. I don't think anybody disagrees with that. I think that he was probably protesting, just using a little bit of common sense. I think he was probably protesting the unfair treatment of black people under some United States police officers and the judicial system in general. I don't think that he was protesting every single police officer and telling them all to die like you seem to post in your Facebook or whatever.
I mean, what he did. Say he's doing exactly what you said.
Okay.
Wouldn't it make more sense if you know something is going on in Chattanooga, that's happening? Or statewide, maybe.
But this isn't a problem in Chattanooga. This is a problem. No,
you have a demonstration and you say, we're protesting because this is happening and this isn't right. Instead of basically saying every cop in the United States, and I'm going to sit down and disrespect all of you because you're all not worth the ground I walk on.
Nope. Can you tell me all of the places in the United States where black people and white people have reached parity in education and economics? You can't, because it hasn't happened. This is a problem that we have all across the United States.
But you know what? There's poor people of every color, just like there's rich people of every color.
We're not talking about poor and rich people of every color. We're talking about a certain. Democrats
don't want the black kids to have, and I say black kids only because there are more in.
Okay, we're not talking. Listen, if you have one rich black person and 100 poor black people, you can't say that. Well, look, there's a rich black person. All of our problems are solved. Okay, the reason why people are protesting is because of the disproportionate representation of black people in places like prison, and because of the disproportionate amount of black people that are in poverty compared to white people.
If there's more people committing crime, where else are they going to be?
What do you mean?
I mean, if two white, it's not even like this. I have no clue how it is, all right? But if two people that are white commit a crime and they go to prison, and 5 people that are black commit a crime and they go to prison, it's wrong because there's 5 of one and 2 of the other?
But why are 5
people that committed crimes?
Why are 5 black? First of all, you're already wrong on that. But why are 5 black people committing crime? Right? This is a deep issue. It has to deal with education. It has to do with availability of jobs. It has to do with gentrification and ghettoification. It has to do with...
Trump has been talking about that.
Trump hasn't been talking about anything of substance. Trump isn't going to do anything. I have watched so much more on Trump than you ever will in the remainder of your life. I have seen
a word he says.
Because I listen to the exact. I listen to the exact words he says, not the distilled version that you get on. I think I've got a pretty holistic view of most of the things that Trump has said.
That there are kids in neighborhoods that have rotten schools.
Okay.
Okay, and they should be able to be taken to whatever school their parent decides would be a good school.
And you think Trump is going to make that? Trump, who wants to eliminate Common Core, who wants to eliminate the Department of Education. How are we going to achieve that under Trump's plan, Mom? Can you tell me?
Well, Stephen, first of all, I don't know that he is planning on doing that, but let's just say he is, okay, because I don't remember. Education's got to be down into the states. It's not controlled by the federal government.
Why?
Standards is one thing, but as far as actual, that's not at the federal government.
So you don't think it's the federal government's job to list a baseline criteria of what students of each grade are expected to know?
I already said yes. I already said yes.
Okay, then that's what Common Core is a baseline of criteria. Students graduating grade 6.
Before Common Core, there was still a baseline.
Okay, and this is about bringing in a national standard for baselines of what students should be expected to know when they graduate. The federal government doesn't dictate to the schools how to teach it. They don't dictate curriculum. They just dictate minimum guidelines that curriculum should meet.
We had that before Common Core.
Did we, though?
So I don't care what it's
So do you think that programs like No Child Left Behind, do you think those were successful programs for education?
Maybe they've been trying different programs. What was No Child Left Behind? Let me tell you my opinion. Since I'm not a teacher, okay, I was under the impression that too many kids were rolling on through school and not really learning how to read and write and do arithmetic. Well, there are some basic things that if you know how to do them, you could do anything. And there's no reason for any child to not be able to do those things. So, yeah, I can understand them testing at different grade levels to make sure they're actually learning those things.
Okay, then what's your problem with Common Core?
I'm not sure, because I'm not sure anymore. After your last explanation, I'm not sure I understand.
That's because the only, introduction you've had to Common Core has come from your insanely biased and insane videos that get posted from your extreme alt-right websites who think that Common Core is literally...
It's just a new term y'all have made up to make us look bad.
No, it's kind of new, but it's because the problem is now your people are starting to foster in people of my age into that same, realm of insanity, so now we need a new name for...
Name, Stephen. What do we want to accomplish? We want.
I don't know.
To have a good experience in school. We want them to.
Then how do you? But every way you look to do that seems to be destructive. Trump wants to destroy the Department of Education, to cut the Department of Education, and he wants it to be done on a state by state, city by city basis. What does that mean? So some states will teach algebra in 6th grade, and some will teach it in 4th grade.
That's the way it is now.
No, that's the whole point of Common Core, was to give a common standard across the entire...
Common standard before.
No, there wasn't. It was on a state-by-state basis. No, there wasn't.
Still a common standard. It may have been taught different in different states, but when I was little, there's stuff, no matter where you lived, as you went through school, that you learned.
And it wasn't the same in every place. That's the problem.
The impression it was.
Well, that's because you only went to one school. How many schools did you go to compare?
Okay, so anyway, the idea is that if a school is not teaching for whatever reason, a parent should be able to take that kid and put it wherever they want to know that kid's going to get...
Okay, but it doesn't work that way all the time, Mom. A parent might...
It's a good idea because...
What?
Because I think it's a good idea because schools run on money.
You think it's a good idea because you're totally out of touch with reality, Mom.
Money per student.
Somebody working 2 or 3 jobs might not have the capability to transport their kid to another school 20 or 30 minutes away. It's not that easy.
How do you know you're not going to be able to get transportation that...
Okay, so you're talking about the ability to run school buses and shit on much wider routes? Because in order to do that, you're going to have to expand funding. You're going to have to tax your property taxes a little... What?
Whatever it takes.
Okay, whatever it takes. That's the liberal argument for expanding government. You realize that, right?
Good education.
I don't disagree with that. Okay. No Democrat disagrees with that. The only people fighting against that are the Republicans.
That's not true.
Then why is it that when you talk about cutting the Department of Education and eliminating federal standards and leaving it all up...
About that. You are.
No, Trump is. And I assumed that you agreed with Trump.
I agree with him on just about everything I've heard, I think.
Do you want me to read you some Trump quotes on the Department of Education? Or do you want me to read you exact... I can give you exact quotes if you want, but I know that you're not usually interested in what he actually says. Do you want...
That's true. I actually hear what he says. So, yeah, I'm interested.
Okay, then here you go. A lot of people believe the Department of Education should just be eliminated. Get rid of it. If we don't eliminate it completely, we certainly need to cut its power and reach. Education has to be run locally.
It's being run locally.
Because I don't want it to be run locally. I don't know what some bumfuck town in Indiana is going to teach its kids about math and science. I want there to be federal standards for what we...
Standards, Stephen.
Yeah, federal standards, yes.
Yeah,
so that means not completely... that you can have your own school. You can teach the curriculum the way you want, but I don't think having an overarching, like, fundamental requirement for what students should know is a bad idea, which is what
does the Department of Education control at this point?
Right now, Common Core is just about asking students to know certain things when they come out of school. It's not about they don't
It is.
Do you want? I mean, we can look up the exact. Let me. We can. Hold on.
There has to be a federal guideline. No matter what it's called or where it is, the Department of Education sounds like a good place for it to be. But it's not up to the federal government to teach. The standards have to be set, but it's up to the schools. And I think vouchers is a good idea, because if you take enough students from a school that's not teaching, they're going to get a whole lot better, or they're going
That's not how schools work, Mom. And that's why the No Child Left Behind failed horribly. If you're a school in a ghetto area and you're a teacher that only has access to 30, 40 crazy kids a day who are in fucked up homes that live in fucked up neighborhoods with fucked up families, or not even families, just single moms, how are you going to take this kid? You think him going to another school is magically going to fix his problems? School is the last thing on this kid's mind. This is why everybody laughs at conservatives when they talk about things like education, because you're so obviously middle class and completely out of touch with what it's like to live as somebody who's completely economically fucked. What? After you guys moved away and I was here, but I mean, my schooling was great, okay? I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that my schooling was bad, because it wasn't, because you guys did good in terms of sending me to school and whatnot. But in terms of struggling, you guys have always had 3 to 4 cars and a big house. When you're a family, and I live in a 2-parent system, if you live with one parent, right, and your parent is working all the time and they can't spend any time with you, and all of your friends are bad and the neighborhoods are bad. We lived in a really good neighborhood, right? If your neighborhood is bad, your friends are bad, and your community is bad, do you think that throwing a little bit of extra money at the school is going to fix them?
I hear you, but it's going to be a whole lot more than just that.
Yeah, I agree. It is. No, I agree. Listen, stop. No. What you just said, I agree.
It has to be more than that.
It is more than that. I agree.
That won't do anything.
I agree. I totally agree.
I agree with the fact that I do believe that Trump will bring jobs back. I do believe that he will help to create a whole lot more jobs.
How?
With the right kind of regulations.
What are the wrong regulations that we have right now?
And that will make a difference to the people who aren't able to make a decent living.
Okay. But you can tell me all of this, but you can't tell me how he's going to do any of it, right?
You can't tell me how Hillary's going to do any of it.
Not really, but I mean, I could probably look for...
More specific, though.
Hillary seems like she wants... No, he's not. Hillary seems like she kind of wants to continue the same stuff Obama does. I don't know. Do you want me to defend Hillary Clinton to you? Every time I get into an argument with you with Trump...
No, don't bother.
Okay, because I'm not going to be doing that here, because I don't like Hillary. I hate Hillary.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'm just saying, first, the candidates initially, any candidate, will put out where they stand on some things, right? But it's pretty ambiguous. And then they start to get more specific. Where the real plans are going to come into effect is once they're in the government and they actually know who and what they're dealing with and what kind of things they can control or affect. But he's getting more and more plans out.
They're being posted on his website, but he's never been able to talk about anything in detail. That doesn't bother you? I mean, I don't think whenever...
He's getting more and more in detail, dear.
But you can't name a single speech or a single interview where he's gone more in detail, right? You can't give me any of those?
I feel like he was in more in detail.
Yeah. A single speech, a single interview where he was in detail in foreign policy, where he was in detail of anything that hasn't happened in the past 6 months ever.
Stand by one. I'm killing your time. My memory is just not.
No, that's good. I can't queue for another game for 9 minutes. So
that speech is his economic. He had an economic speech, right? I thought that was pretty good, and no, I can't.
Yep, and I read the entire transcript, and there weren't really any specifics in there either. I can find that entire transcript for you if you want.
Stephen, do you think any candidate would be more specific than what he put out?
My problem isn't my problem isn't Trump's lack of specificity. The problem is that he sounds very stupid when he speaks, and every time he's tried to give anything anything of any degree of specificity, he has come off as being a total airhead who has no idea what he's talking about. For example, we talked about this earlier today. Trump said that in order to shore up, I think it was like shortfalls in Medicare and Medicaid, he would cut funding to the EPA. The Medicare and Medicaid shortfalls were in the hundreds of billions of dollars, and the EPA's entire annual budget was $8 billion. There are a lot of little things like that where Trump will say one thing and be very vague about it and give nothing and say that it will fix all of the problems, but he never gives anything specific and he never gives a good idea.
There's an awful lot of, just for starters, there's a lot of waste and abuse, okay, in government spending.
Okay. There's waste and abuse everywhere.
For many, many elections, someone says, oh, well, we're going to start by cutting that. Or
yeah, everybody says that.
And that's just, right, everybody says it, and that's one step. And then the other party says, oh, no, there's nothing there. Well, you know what? These little things add up, and they just delve into where the problems are. And you have to get going before anything can be fixed.
Okay, every single person.
You can't touch that.
Since I've been alive, Clinton, Bush, Obama, that's what I've been alive for, right? Every single time I've heard them talk in the news about coming back and running for re-election, that phrase, I'm going to go through the government budget line by line and eliminate waste and fraud, is always uttered, and it means nothing.
It's uttered, but it's never done.
Yeah. So I don't have much faith, I guess, that Trump is magically going to do that, especially when he hasn't spoken specifically.
I think he very well might.
With anything.
You also have, oh, jeepers, what was I going to say? That's just one tiny part. You have to hit everything. When you talk about Medicare, I'm not talking Medicaid, but when you talk Social Security and Medicare,
what about them?
You can't be supporting, bring in another, however many people, and take money from there to support them.
Sure, no one disagrees with that. No one disagrees with that.
Okay, so I mean, Medicare and Social Security shouldn't even be an issue.
Okay.
Now, things like, remember when you said fraud, waste, and abuse?
Mm-hmm.
You realize that during the time that Clinton was, and I only say her name because it just happens, that we have a figure on it.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow $6 billion disappeared that they can't account for.
$6 billion is absolutely nothing compared to the annual budget of the United States of America.
But things add up.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure tens of billions or hundreds of billions of dollars have been lost every single administration. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised, but you can't just throw up your arms and say, oh, well, things disappear from everywhere.
No. It's not a matter of throwing your arms up and doing whatever. It's a matter of getting somebody to talk about real solutions that are actually going to fix our problems instead of paying lip service to an uneducated voter base that doesn't know the difference. So when somebody stands up and says, I'm going to eliminate waste and fraud and abuse, like, okay, so that's your entire plan to fix the government?
He said that.
What? I'm sure he has. Every single person says that. I'm sure Hillary said it. I'm sure.
Well, I would say
sure, everybody says it.
There is so much of it, it's ridiculous.
Sure.
And every department should be looking for that stuff. And I'm not saying cut out substance, absolutely not. But let's just, you all, while I'm thinking of other ways to bring in money. And
how are you going to bring in money when all you want to do is cut taxes for everything, though? Where is Trump getting all this extra revenue from?
Because he's going to bring other businesses back.
How is he going to bring businesses back to the States? He hasn't said it yet.
We have one of the highest business corporation taxes in the world.
Kind of.
And that's why companies leave.
Kind of.
Yeah, it is.
We kind of have we have one of the higher ones. It's not the highest, even though
I said that's why.
Sure. Okay. Oh yeah, you did say one of the. We have one of the higher ones, but there are a lot of corporations that dodge taxes in a lot of clever ways. Anyway, you've got corporate inversions that go on in Ireland. You've got people that
they're there.
Okay.
Do you not? I mean, you don't pay any more than you have to. I don't know anybody who pays any more than they have to.
Sure. So do you think it's economically feasible for the United States of America to adopt a corporate tax policy that is going to be competitive with countries that exist solely to provide competitive tax policies to these consumers, the businesses that come and set up places there? Do you really think that we can compete that way?
I think we can compete however we want to compete.
Then why is all of our manufacturing in China and Mexico?
We're bringing it back.
How are we bringing it back?
because he said he was, and I believe him.
So
Because
he's going to
knows
snap his
the
fingers
ins
and...
That's simplistic because I'm not him and I don't know all the details.
No, but you're saying about as much as he said on it, so...
Businessman, and he knows how import and export work, all right? The benefits to both sides, because there's supposed to be benefits to both sides, what needs to be adjusted and why. And he's not in it alone. He has people that work for him that know different things about, to get this stuff together.
Okay, if he's actually given like a detailed plan on how he's going to bring stuff back, I would love to hear it, but he hasn't given it at all.
Part of what he said was, if someone, oh my God, what is he eating? If someone is not being fair with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what does that mean though?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it means that they import all their stuff and they don't take any imports from us.
Okay, maybe that's just because we don't make anything that they want.
Or because it doesn't really matter why.
No, well, wait. You think that with every single country you trade with, you need to have a net zero trade balance? You think that's how that's always going to work?
No. But it can't be, 5 to 99.
Why can't it be?
To 99.
If another country has the ability to manufacture that much more stuff, why wouldn't there be a massive trade imbalance? Like, the problem is, the reason why you don't have answers is because Trump hasn't given any answers to these either. If Trump laid out a complicated plan for bringing back manufacturing to the United States, I would be all over that. I would be very interested to hear it. There's a lot of different ways that you can go about it, but a lot of those could have devastating impacts to middle-class and lower-class Americans. They could have devastating... What?
I think that he will bring back jobs. I think there will be lots of jobs, and people who are having a hard time making a decent wage or even getting a starter job, there will be more jobs. And with that...
How?
It's okay if there's less tax per person because there'll be more tax going in anyway.
Unemployment is already really low right now. It can't get any lower than what it is right now. And how is he even going to get all these jobs back? Like, again, like, there's no specifics.
Because he has said some stuff about that. Because things are set up right now in a way that's not fair. I don't remember what the details are.
Okay, if you can find me any details, again, I'll somebody that's followed this election far more closely than I wish I had. If you have any,
how will he get?
He won't. He has no plan for it at all. He won't be able to either because he has no idea what he's talking about. He would be destroying relationships with countries all over the world.
No, mutual respect is not a bad thing.
We have mutual respect. We're the United States of America.
No, if somebody is walking all over
Who's walking? Who do you think is walking all over us? Who do you think is walking all over us?
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. I'm curious because I know that you also pass this meme around that Obama goes around the world apologizing for us or whatever. Who do you think walks all over us?
Oh, that has nothing to do with what I just said, though. But yeah, good comment. That's what he did in the beginning and probably still is doing. I don't know. I don't care. I'm just glad he's leaving.
Okay. It's also surprising as a military person that you're so...
An imbalance in trade and some of the agreements we have?
It's a lot more complicated than it seems. I even used to... My opinion on that has changed as recently as a couple months ago, where it's a very, very, very complicated thing. A lot of the jobs that we've lost to other countries have probably been lost to automation as well. Even in China, they began to automate a lot of jobs. We can't just tariff the fuck out of a country that we don't want to export a lot of shit to, because one, that hurts relations with them. Two, China has more leverage than over us that we do them at this point, probably. Although we're probably their biggest importer, but I think that China can probably sustain more than we can at this point.
I kind of doubt it.
Why? Because you think that we run on patriotism and love of the eagle that flies around?
You're so right.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I will go spend that extra $1 or 10 on our product. I will.
Gotcha. But not everybody can afford to do that. That's another thing. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody can do that. Poor people can't do that. Poor people don't have the option of paying $20 or something that they can get for $2 at Walmart.
Well, I hear what you're saying. One of the nice things about this country is entrepreneurship.
Not everybody can be an entrepreneur.
A lot of people could.
No, they can't. That's not true. That you would expect every single person to just go. A lot is 1%, 2%.
It doesn't really matter.
It does.
Now.
What do you mean? How more?
In this area, there's a lot of entrepreneurship, and for some people, that's just part of what they earn. But they think of something that someone needs, and whether it's a service or a product, and they make it.
Not every person can just go out and start their own business.
Every person, dear, but not every person has to. You have people working jobs. You have people creating things, that other people want. There's lots of ways to earn an income. And then you get the taxable income down some, especially for the poorer people who probably won't even pay any.
I haven't seen any tax plans that get the taxable income down for poor people yet. I know that Cruz claimed his did, but it didn't.
Pay tax.
Sure, they don't. And a lot of them get money back, so.
That's right.
So a lot of the plans are to raise taxes on poor people, I guess.
What?
So a lot of the plans is to raise taxes on poor people?
No, there is no plan to raise taxes on poor people. None.
Okay.
He has said, poor people aren't even...
Cruz's tax plan would have. Cruz's tax plan would have.
Huh?
Cruz's tax plan would have.
I think you're right. Trump's won't. I think it's kind of nice, too. Trump's daughter, because she's a businesswoman and she's a mom of 3, and she works with a lot of people, she sees the need for parents and single moms and single dads and their special needs with daycare and stuff, and so she's working on that. There's people that he knows how to get the people who are really good at different things.
He hasn't got any really good people for his campaign yet. He seems to swap them out pretty often.
Sir, would you like to buy some chocolate?
True, but I think he's doing pretty well, personally.
You think the Paul Manafort guy was a good representation of Trump's campaign, or?
Is he one that is or one that's gone?
He's the one that just left.
I'm trying to remember why he left.
I'm not sure. He does a lot of foreign consultation. He's the guy where they discovered some huge ledger, $12.7 million or whatever, that was supposedly owed to his company that wasn't reported to the State Department or Department of Justice in some Ukrainian place for consultation work that his company supposedly did. That guy.
Okay. And he's gone?
Yeah, he's gone.
Okay. Hey, people, let me tell you. It seems like people get away with whatever they can. And sometimes you don't know someone until you know them.
Sure.
But I think Trump is a good choice. I think he's going to bring jobs back.
But you don't know how? You just believe him?
I do. I believe him. He said enough that I've garnered it enough to
So he just says it enough times, you believe him?
No, it's not a matter of enough time. It's the right information. Whether it's...
Which information was that?
With the trade treaties that he's talked about.
With no specifics that he's gone in at all?
What he has spoken about. Stephen, I don't remember all the details of every single thing he says. I've been around for a long time. If I remembered every single thing I had ever heard or read, wow. I'd be bigger than the earth, dear.
I mean, it doesn't bother you? You can't think of a single thing?
A specific as
like any, just even one thing? Like to list for why?
One thing is he said school vouchers. He will make sure that parents could get school vouchers.
Didn't we just agree that school vouchers wouldn't do anything?
School vouchers will do something.
What do you think? Okay, so let me give you a hypothetical scenario. A kid lives with his mom, one mom, okay? He's got a bunch of horrible friends. He doesn't have a dad in his life. The mom is working constantly. Maybe she has a drug problem. He goes to a horrible school, right? And now vouchers are a thing. Do you think that this kid is all of a sudden going to go to a different school? His mom is going to take the time to drive him to that school. He's going to suddenly care about education so much.
Now you're talking a problem with a parent.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where kids come from.
That has to be addressed differently.
Sure.
That's not going to be addressed with a voucher or just a voucher.
Okay.
So now that's a whole different story.
Okay. Yeah. So the voucher isn't.
Remember Brownie, Stephen?
Yeah.
We have another dog that's just as big as her, maybe even bigger, that you would absolutely love.
Maybe I'll think about it.
Okay. And he's just a puppy, but he's bigger than her. Don't you dare! Don't you do that! I'm sorry, Stephen.
What'd she do?
I think he was about to eat the couch.
Nice.
My God. Oh, no, it's okay. It's all right. But he's a wonderful puppy. Very good, loving, sweet. And he hasn't broken anything yet.
Wow.
And he's not going to.
Okay, my timer's up. I'm going to go play games, okay?
I love you.
All right, I love you guys too. Maybe I'll come down for Christmas, maybe?
Please.
All right.
Chrissy's coming.
Yep.
Joey's coming. And I'm trying to talk the rest of them into coming.
Okay, I love you. I'll talk to you later, all right?
All right, love you.
Bye.
Mwah. Bye.
Fuck me. God damn it. Okay.